Hello and welcome to this special interview. This is Muneef Khan, and joining us today is human rights lawyer from Palestine, Raji Sourani. Mr. Sourani is also a director at the Palestinian Centre for Human Rights and has been designated as the Amnesty International Prisoner of Conscience on two separate occasions. According to Amnesty International, a prisoner of conscience is anyone who is imprisoned or physically restricted solely because of their socio-political beliefs. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Sourani. My first
Thank you.
question to you. In an interview with Al Jazeera in April 2024, it was mentioned that you, along with a team of lawyers from your organization, were working on an attempt to prosecute Israel for genocide at the International Court for Justice. If I may ask, where does this stand in the present day? What's the update?
Well, ICJ, as you know, it's a court for the states. Individuals cannot do it by themselves. And we were trying and invested our best in the ICC in order to make the case move. Actually, we filed our case since January 2015, but there was incredible amount of political pressure, especially by U.S. first period of Trump administration, 2017, he issued a presidential decree, and that presidential decree penalized any who will try to bring U.S. or Israeli army or political level to the ICC and hold them accountable. And accordingly, there was slowdown process, obviously, and this lasted till March 2021, when Fatou Bensouda decided to open investigation. But we tried after to make the investigation moves. Karim Khan took over as a new prosecutor of the ICC, and he didn't move anywhere. And when the October 7th erupted and the Israeli began with their genocidal war, actually we invested our best and we were having very clear, simple reading for it. And we knew and realized this is going to go on with the genocidal war due to first basic evidence. I mean, the
But
president of Israel said,
if I may interrupt, you went back to mentioning that when Karim Khan took over at the ICC, things did not move forward as much. Could you elaborate on why that was the case?
we don't know, but he was talking about restructuring the courts. He has deficit in the budget. He want to reconstruct the investigation Palestine. He has the priorities, which was very confusing for us. And he refused even in principle, I mean, to see us for a long period of time. So when October 7th, I mean, we tried many, many times, to see him, to meet with him, to highlight, I mean, the importance of that, especially he was having already decision by the previous prosecutor, Fatou Bensouda, to go on with the investigation. So the road is paved. I mean, all what he has to do just to ask them to carry on the investigation. He didn't do that. And when the war erupted, we tried to reconnect again. He refused. And we tried again with his investigative team. No way. That's why we decided to think of the ICJ. And of course, ICJ, it's for the states, not individuals. And that's why we began to think and try to open dialogue with Ireland, with South Africa. And South Africa, I mean, was open to the idea. They have, of course, I mean, many questions to ask and many requests. And we delivered all that, and we were lucky that South Africa, with all its moral, political, and human authority it has as a country who defeated the colonial apartheid regime in South Africa, to take over the case and go to the ICJ and challenge Israel and accusing it with the most serious crime on earth, which is genocide.
And
So
yes,
we succeeded in that, and we were lucky, and I'm part of that legal team. I mean, and doing it. Yeah.
but I also wanted to ask, coming back to Karim Khan, I'm sure you must have heard the recent news that reportedly Karim Khan, who is the chief prosecutor at the International Criminal Court, was reportedly warned that he would be destroyed along with the court if the arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant were not withdrawn. And as a lawyer, how do you perceive this? I know that you have history with Mr. Khan, but how do you perceive this?
Now, let me put it in order. In order, we have a case in the ICC, and this case since January 2015. There, we have 5 years preliminary examination at the court. And then this incredible political pressure by the US administration during Trump administration first time. And he promised to sanction every lawyer, prosecutor, who are involved in bringing any for accountability. And there was a blanket of fear. And Fatou Bensouda was so courageous, incredibly courageous, to challenge that with no protection by any country, and to end the preliminary investigation. And after that, she decided to take it and go to the pre-trial chamber. And this lasted 2 years, I mean, at the chamber, in order to conclude whether Rome Statute applicable in the occupied territories or not. And they concluded, yes, it applies there. Then she decided with a clear-cut vision and law to proceed with that. She formed the investigative body, and she had in meeting with us, and this was supposed to go marche. I mean, just to proceed with the investigation. We have all kinds of war crimes. The crimes of 2014, the Great March of Return, the attack of 2021, and the menu was full of war crimes, crimes against humanity, persecution, and ethnic cleansing. Her term ended in May. In June, Mr. Karim Khan took over. Now, when he took over, of course, we know he needs some time. Of course. And we can understand that. And we asked to see him. First time, he refused. Second time, he refused. The State Assembly of the ICC took place in December. We asked to see him. No way. He began to talk about reconstructing the court and the priorities. Yes, that's fine. But what about us? Especially there was the 22, 23 attacks, and he didn't see us at all. It's very strange that prosecutor, in the most important case, any place, he cannot even go, or his teams go, that he doesn't want to see, neither the lawyers or the representatives of victims. Now we talk to him again, and we concluded that he doesn't want. Meanwhile, Ukraine war erupted. And immediately, I mean, in February, in March, he opened an office in Kiev. And he jumped, though neither Russia or Ukraine members, he began the investigation. And he allocated 37 investigators in Ukraine. And he began to do this and that. We were mad. I mean, it's good, it's important that there is invasion, there is occupation. Ukraine needs that. He began to talk about, war crimes in Ukraine happening and Ukrainians have, but he didn't move. I mean, seriously in our file. And when we make the link, he ignored it. When October 7th happened, again, we contacted them promptly and we warned them that this is obvious genocide. And they didn't want to listen, they didn't want to meet, they didn't want to receive files. How that comes?
If I may
And
add, like
no,
it does
no,
seem
no,
that he neglected the case of Gaza.
if you allow me, now, after we made the case in the ICJ, he asked to see us. And we were very reluctant. And I told him the blood and pain and suffering of Gaza after October 7th, he carried genuine part of the responsibility because he didn't convey a message. He didn't defend. He has everything at his office and he was supposed to move. Maybe if he hold any Israeli accountable, according to the files he has, they didn't think of doing genocide. But so I'm telling you what we told him. I mean, nothing new. And we pleaded to him that he should move immediately and effectively. I mean, with that, he promised to do so and to move forward. But this was after he met with the Israeli victims first. And he went to Israel and they allowed him to go there, though there was complete denial since January 2015. So after he met with them and he asked to see us, we told him that, and we told him that we are disappointed and we hope that he moves somewhere. And he asked for our support and delivering him whatever needed. We said that's our mission. I mean, in this regard. Of course, later he delivered with these two decisions regarding Bibi and Gallant. But is that enough?
Is it too little, too late?
No. I think this is related only to October 7th and after May. And it's related to starvation and famine, denying food. It's not related to genocide even. We wanted more. We have hundreds of cases. It's there. And we have the chain of command for those who are directly involved.
If I may interrupt, can I ask you if you feel that Karim Khan has failed you?
Definitely to wait 2 years after he took over, he failed us. And we wanted and anticipated that he move swiftly and quickly, but obviously he did. I don't want more than Ukraine to move. In 1 year, he had warrant against Putin. It took us how many years? I mean, since January of 2015 till May 2024. This is long period. And I'm sure if the message conveyed to Israel that they can be held accountable, they would think 20 times before doing what they are doing. But they felt and they knew they are getting along. Nobody dare to touch them, nobody dare to hold them accountable. And I also want to assure you this only came after 3 provisional measures decisions taken by the ICJ.
I
It's
also
late. I'm saying fine, but we wanted even to see more. We wanted to see more because they are not the only criminals. And we have the evidence, we have the files, we have the proof on everything. I mean, we are saying this is the most well documented conflict in history. It's a genocide broadcasted in live stream, and the whole world watch it.
And if I may ask, like, since we've come back to the question of war crimes, when I spoke to you last time in October of 2023, you were in Gaza, and we had a phone call with a very patchy internet connectivity, and you would stop in between to say, "Can you hear that? The bombing has started," and so on. And even then, you had mentioned this, and I quote from that article: "There is only one who's committing war crimes, that is Israel." It's been close to 2 years now, right? Do you feel that the world and the media has turned its back on Gaza?
On the level of civil society, I think civil society globally did fantastic in Gaza. And I'm very proud, that American, the creme de la creme of universities, the generation of tomorrow, stood firm and they tried their best to voice the voiceless and to defend Gazans and Palestinians from the genocide crime. They were able to speak truth to power. This makes me feel great. In London, you have 500,000 people. In Tokyo, in Delhi, in Paris, and I'm telling you, I mean, in Spain, no village didn't demonstrate with Palestine. In Italy, everybody, I mean, with Palestine and against the. So there was real echoing. I don't want to talk about Latin America, Africa, and Asia. Yeah, but it's obvious the solidarity and the support of Palestinians condemning the genocide, because no normal human being would argue about genocide and don't condemn that, irrelevant who's doing it. Our problem, honestly, not with the people. I think the people and the citizen of the world showed incredible solidarity and support and condemnation for what's going on. But the governments are evil. And I'm talking about US and Europe. These two levels, shame on them. How can they support criminal belligerent occupation? And they call that genocide the right of self-defense. How it can be? I'm, 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 I'm appalled. The occupation, crime of aggression. This is the simple definition of it in the ICC Rome Statute. And you are saying about a criminal, belligerent occupation having the right of self-defense? That's shameful. Two, you are very selective. You say to Ukraine, Russia is evil. They invaded and occupied Ukraine. Accordingly, Ukrainians do have the right of self-defense. Do have the right to resist the occupation by all ways and means. And they called the free Europeans, Americans, to go take the arms and join Ukrainians in resisting the Russian occupation. They sanctioned Russia because it's occupier. They sanctioned Russia and they said, we will give Ukraine by all ways and means arms, and we will support it economically, and we will support its work in the ICC and the ICG, and they did. That's fine. We thought they wakened up and they knew that occupation is evil. Occupation and invasion, that's not something acceptable. But we are too occupied by Israel, and we too have bloody record of this criminal occupation, and you know they are doing genocide. How you support it? So there is the people and there is the governments. While we are heartened by the incredible support of the people across the globe, we are greatly disappointed by the American and European position. It's not only supporting them that way, but till now we are bombed and killed with the American, European ammunitions and bombs. What the hell? 20,000 children of Gaza dead for US and Europe. I want to know what's the evil? I mean, we did to be killed by them. What the hell we did to destroy 90% of Gaza, and you cover that and you support that. Why you are allowing Israel to make female in Gaza? People, I spoke this morning with a friend of mine. He said to me, Raji, if I wish, I want to die. I don't want to continue anymore. I cannot feed my children. I cannot feed my mom and dad. I cannot neither feed or protect. I feel I'm helplessness. But you are seeing genocide in the 21st century. Watch it. And you support it politically, legally, and with arms. That's a big shame. Now,
Can I
the
also,
Convention of Genocide,
if I
you
may
know what's
interrupt,
called?
if I may
The
interrupt,
Convention of Prevention of Genocide. You are seeing this 21 months and you are still supporting it. Sorry.
if I, no, if I may interrupt, I also noticed that you are no longer in Gaza. And the last time when we spoke, you were also very adamant that you will not leave Gaza come what may. And I think right now you are based in Cairo, if I'm not wrong. And what changed? What made you leave Gaza?
I didn't leave Gaza willingly. My house was bombed, and on top of me and my wife and my son. And as you know, I'm a lawyer for the last 43 years. And one of my missions to document these legal war crimes, all the way long. And I was checking, twice whether this is deliberate, intentional targeting or not. Me and my colleagues, concluded yes. This was deliberate. I was contacted by many in Gaza and in Europe, in US, in Japan, and they advised me, friends, not to stay for 1 minute there, because they believe, this was targeted attempt, and they said nobody will take use of you. I mean, if you are dead, your mission now, especially now, not in Gaza, I mean, outside. On the other side, I mean, my wife and son refused either to separate or leave me and go to Egypt. Now, I don't have, at the time, it was mission impossible to make anybody leave from Gaza except those who has a residency or other nationality. I didn't have either residency outside or nationality. But and some friends, I mean, intervened and they get me out. I mean, that's
Now,
they tried their
that's
best.
how you came out of
So it was. I mean, for the first time, really, يعني my very deep feeling. I'm not on the right place. You know, I need to be there, but that coincided with our work on the ICJ and the contacts we carried with South Africa and Ireland, and that coincided with our work with the ICC and some universal jurisdiction cases. So for advocacy and talking to different bodies, whether the European Union or European Commission or different UN bodies, etc. So I mean, professionally wise, yes, this was good that I'm out, but emotionally wise, it shatters me because I served all my life in Gaza and I wanted to be in Gaza, but sometimes things doesn't work the way you like.
And if I may ask, this might be a tough question, but you talked about war crimes, and I did read that there had been a proper documentation of the war crimes also. Can you walk us through some of the documented testimonies which you have gathered from the victims?
Munif, we have had a real dilemma in the very beginning of the genocidal war. The dilemma was we never ever documented partially. We were documenting everything. I can assure you in 2008, 9, nothing at that war we didn't document. 2012, same. 2014, same. 2017, Great March of Return, same. 21, 22, 23, May. So every war crime, crime against humanity, persecution happened, we documented it fully. Not a single act we didn't document. But in this war, it was mission impossible to document everything. And I have had dilemma. I mean, what I ask my people. First, it was very, very dangerous. It was mission impossible to cover in the first 2 weeks. I mean, it was, I mean, our teams usually from the first minute, they are on the ground, they are spread all over Gaza, they know how to manage during war times. At this, I mean, for the first 2 weeks, I asked everybody to stay home, not to move out. And only bunch of us, handful, were moving because we are contacted by media, by others. I mean, we cannot tell blah, blah. And we were in contact just about what going on in different zones. But we were having, I mean, a good picture by lawyers and our field workers. Now, afterwards, we decided, and after some consultations and analysis, to do what we call it selective documentation. What does that mean? I cannot document practically the attack against 38 hospitals. This is mission impossible. So what to do? I can use Shifa Hospital, Baptist Hospital, Nasser Hospital, Rantisi Hospital. I can be selective in choosing the hospitals, six, seven of them, control them 100% regarding facts, evidence, etc., and have it there. So we did that regarding hospitals. And of course, we have incredible fights. I mean, I mean, even the ICC, they were telling us, I mean, that's too much. I mean, we don't need all that. We then documented attacks against shelters, UNRWA schools where people were sheltering and civilians anyway. So there was attacks on it, and hundreds of people has been killed. We documented that. Water desalination plants, of course. Uh, Farms erased and agriculture, of course, etc. And this go to schools, this go to universities, this go to targeting every aspects in life in Gaza. So we have samples, I mean major samples, if I may say that, for each quality of crimes they committed. Displacement of people, famine or starvation, all that I mean documented.
So what you're saying is that you have the evidence for almost everything that one can imagine has gone wrong in Gaza. And this brings me to my final question, and this is a personal question that I wanted to ask you. Do you ever think of returning to Gaza, given that there is a threat to your life, and you mentioned that there is selective targeting? Will you ever go back to Gaza?
Definitely,
And why is that?
definitely. This is the first thing on my agenda. Why is that? I'm a Gazan, deep-rooted Gazan. My family lives in Gaza for the last 7 centuries. I choose to be in Gaza. When I was young, I mean, offered work in London, in Geneva, in Beirut, in Stockholm, in New York. But that was my personal choice to be in Gaza. I know Gaza is not the most beautiful place on earth, but that's where I belong and that's where I feel my humanity. And there is a cause and case I'm working for. I love it. I like it. I like the people most, and I'm part of that. Uh, I'm daily now working like 12 hours with Gaza and the rest with the outside world. I'm having my team in Gaza. There are 45 staff members there, lawyers, field workers, researchers, and they are doing heroic work there, and they are documenting with the starvation, with the bombing, with the killing, with the displacement. Uh, we lost three so far. Many of our staff lost many of their families, as usual. So there is a mission. We are outside, almost 20 of us outside Gaza, and we are doing like soliciting, barristering. We do very complementary work for what they are doing in the ICC, ICJ, and UJ cases, etc., and advocacy as well. So there is a mission. You know, I would love. I mean, I'm an age I need to rest, I need to write, I need to enjoy a little bit of life, paying more time for my family, but I won't compromise for 1 second returning back to Gaza with whatever the price will be.
I really, really appreciate the honest answer. And this brings us to a close with our conversation. And I appreciate you taking the time to join us. And
I'm honored, Muneef, and please keep in touch.
we'll do so. Thank you so much.
Thank you.